started, and so on. So most of us are here. We do have a quorum. So in that respect, we just get started. So I am recording this just so that everybody is aware. GDPR. So so there are no issues. All right. I think I don't want to dominate too much, so I'd like everybody to just jump in whenever you feel you want to, or want, or can, or if you have any burning questions, please ask me. I thought this was very interesting to just give a little perspective. I had a meeting today with Jeff Utrecht. He is a guru in the field of technology and education, and he was using this live statistics. This is a live feed, really live feed of the number of users. And I think that we need to just pause for a minute and take a look at this and give a little perspective. Because the United Nations, specifically the United Nations Telecommunications Agency, announced on Friday, sorry, not Friday, on in December of 2018, that a milestone had been reached. And that milestone was that 50%, that is 3.9 billion people, or 51.2%, were already online. 51.2% of the world population were already online, and this was a very important milestone. This sort of went, I think, unnoticed, but the latest figure also spotlighted Africa as having the strongest rate of growth in internet access, from 2% in 2005 to more than 24% of the African population in 2018, at the end of 2018. Europe and the Americas, because of the high saturation, were the slowest growth rates. Of course, that's expected. And overall, this International Telecommunication Union has made some very interesting predictions. And one of those predictions is that by a particular date up ahead, the entire planet will have access to the internet. Right now, we're looking at how many people currently do access. So those are two different statistics. I think we're in the right business, is my point. I think we are very well positioned as far as e-learning is concerned. And I just wanted to highlight a few things here regarding where we're going, what our mission statement is, what our vision statement is. And in that respect, perhaps just to highlight here where we are with our partnerships, and where you are, or what the expectations are for our co-workers, who I like to call partners or trial partners in this respect. So this is what I'd like to look at. And again, this is a brief overview, and I do encourage you to jump in. I don't want to dominate the conversation. So I think the first thing I'd like to do is just touch on our mission, so that everybody is rather clear, right? I don't think this is something that's been shared. So what is our mission? What is our vision? All right. Now, I know the worst thing is to put all this, all of these letters and sentences up here, because it's quite a distractor. But just give it a quick read. I'll just mute the microphone for 2 minutes, and that way you can take your time. Okay, so I mean, I hope this is this at least sheds some light as to where the thinking is. And let me just say that this is always, and as usual, a working document. So the expectation is that going forward, there will be revisions, there will be changes that are made based on input and so on. So this is a first working document. I believe that, in my view, what I would really want to highlight is something that recently took place. And I did reach out to some individuals who were involved, and I think this falls within the purview of our mission vision. And I'm trying to find here, give me 1 second. You may or may not be aware that in the news recently, there were some incidents that took place with the 2 girls from Saudi Arabia. And these 2 girls were, can you hear me? Am I clear?
Yeah. It's
okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just thought my microphone here did not seem to be reflecting that it's working. But there were 2 girls who were abducted. Sorry, not abducted. Who escaped from Saudi Arabia, and they were in the news recently, and specifically they were being forced back to Saudi. In my view, what we should be doing is getting engaged at some point with situations like this. Now, this cannot, of course, be our business model. We do, of course, have to make sure that we can function. But I've discussed this with some of our colleagues here, and if we were to offer a scholarship, once we have, for example, X number of students, in an online environment, offering a scholarship to 2 students, for example, these 2 girls, would fall right in line with what our mission and vision is. Not only that, but it would give us quite interesting publicity. But beyond the publicity, I think it really shares what our mission could be, not only to try and gain profit through education, but also to really do good. Any thoughts on that? I'll just pause my microphone for your response.
Yeah, if you allow, James, I think with the mission, I agree with what is written down. It's a very, okay, it's a general statement, but coming back to what you said before, that we are on the right track, I think I also agree with that. But we have to be aware that we are no longer alone in that field. A lot of now high-ranked universities are starting their online programs. So we should find the ways to distinguish us from these already more or less famous institutions where we cannot be a concurrent and where we don't want to be a concurrent. So looking at disadvantaged groups, like you said now, for Saudi Arabian women or others, and offering scholarships could be a way to get a certain recognition from authorities.
I agree with Professor Michel. I think the field is getting crowded, and there are major investors with deep pockets that are penetrating that. So it's all about finding a unique niche, something that distinguishes us from the rest. So I totally agree with you, Professor.
Okay, thanks for that. And if anybody has any input, please feel free to just interrupt me. Let me just say again that our meetings are going to be very short and concise, so we've got half an hour left. Just FYI. Not only because it's the way meetings should be run, but let me just say that Zoom only gives us 45 minutes, coincidentally.
Okay.
So it will cut us off at 45 minutes, regardless of whether we're finished or not. And I think it's quite a good control mechanism. So this is something that I think, and like Louis said, the idea is to try and distinguish ourselves and not only do good, but really try and get ahead of, of other institutions. So that's something I wanted to point out as far as just discussing or considering what our mission and vision is. What I did want to talk about was our strategic partners and our prospects next, okay, moving right along. And I do have here some indication, something that you will be able to see that highlights where we are with our partnerships. Louis Robert, who is here with us, he is also one of our on the leadership team, is the president of the Brussels Business Institute. And I'm happy to report, Louis, that we now have e-learning directly reflected on the BBI website, right? This is something that you had actually highlighted to me. So we are on the verge with BBI to sign the agreement. I believe, I thought it was actually signed because they had said that they would send it to us over the weekend.
Yeah, it's signed, but we when we see each other tomorrow, there are some details to discuss. But in fact, that will not now block the starting of the project.
Okay, excellent. So BBI, as everybody can see here, is already advertising the e-learning program that EBU will be delivering. This is prolific. This is very important for us because it means that we are really now ready to move forward with BBI. The other institution that I'm happy to report is also moving forward with EBU is the International Graduate Center in Bremen. So the International Graduate Center in Bremen has come to us. And by the way, you may not recognize this picture here, but this is the European Investment Bank, for those of you who don't know Luxembourg. And these are the group of students who came to Luxembourg last year. And this is Mihaela Juncken. She's a program coordinator. And I happened to meet her, and I happened to also meet with the dean of the program. This is Mihaela, and this is Tim Jotke. So what have we done with them? Well, to date, we have created a website for the International Graduate Center. And this is the website that we have created, in essence, ready to launch also in September of this year. We've gone to the extent of having them having courses created for them. So the dean is going to be launching one of the courses. This is a different model. We're building the courses, and I'll tell you something about that. We have another course here, but I've also been invited to deliver a course under EBU for the International Graduate Center. What I think is very interesting in this situation is that the International Graduate Center is interested in EBU building and potentially running their DBA program. So when I am when I am face to face, literally, when I am on the premises, I'll be traveling to Bremen, but the courses will be delivered online. I'll be there for some weekends. We will be discussing in May the details of how we can launch the DBA program for the IGC as of September again of 2019, or October 2019, I should say. This is going to mean that we have IGC also as a second candidate, or as a second partner, I should say, not candidate, but a second strategic partner. We have in the discussions talked about many other prospects, because let me just put it this way: we have built for the IGCSE this platform, but they do not have the team required to run it. They do not have the team required to maintain it, and they do not have enough professors willing to deliver the courses. So this is where, of course, now EBU will come in. The other university that we're working with is with the digital technologies in medicine and dentistry. So maybe Louis, you can talk about this, because Andre Reuter is the person we're trying to discuss for the DBA, correct?
Yes, but I saw him this week, so it's not ready to launch, as he is still in negotiations also with the University of Leipzig, and there things are moving too. So, of course, we keep it in mind to run our own DBA, but for the moment, his candidates are exclusively coming from the medical domain. So I think we will have to open it and give it a broader image outside. But as I said before, we have still we cannot do it tomorrow. But it's in preparation. I think everybody involved here is interested. There is one main problem now for Andre, as he is running actually a DBA together with BSI, Business Science Institute, and he wants to stop this partnership. So he has first to get out of this partnership before we can start with a new one. But that is something we should discuss in the next meeting together, James.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you for that, Louis. So this is purely in discussion. The medical side of it is interesting because regardless of it being purely medicine, they want the business aspects and the business applications that they might be able to put in. So we have 10 more minutes, just so you're aware. Okay, the other university that we have signed an agreement with and will be launching their platform is with Riara University. This is in Kenya, and I think based on the data that we saw, this is quite interesting. So that's just a little bit of a background in terms of where we are with our partner, strategic partners, and what I think might be interesting going forward. All right. The other thing I just wanted to quickly mention here was with respect to our financial projections. Our financial projections, I think, at this point will only be revealed to everybody once we have student enrollment. I think that we will have quite an interesting projection to share with you, but at the moment it is something that we've decided to hold off until we have enough student numbers to really show concrete, not only of course projections, but actual figures as well. So we've discussed our strategic partners. I think this is a repetition here. What I would like to say is the following: trial partners. All right, and this is really the last point that I just want to make. I think that we're at the cusp of something very interesting. I think that that this concept can really take off, and come September, October, we will either have a very busy period ahead of us, or we'll be not not busy at all, one or the other. We have to manage our expectations. It's very possible that the enrollment level in any situation may not develop at all, and we may have to wait until the next cycle, which would be most likely January or March. So just to manage those expectations, I think the point I want to make is, regardless, this is an organization that is based on everybody being a trial member, based on individual input, individual self-initiative. I think I can add that at this point, I think it's fair to say that Alexis has been putting in incredibly long hours, as has Isabel, in building this structure, as have I, in trying to source partnerships, as has Louis, in the multiple meetings we've had in moving things forward. What I would ask that if everybody wants to be a team member and be a partner, not a mere employee, is that everybody engage in as a self-starter. In other words, it's a question of what needs to be done, not what should one do. So there is an incredible amount of work, and we are really swamped with the possibilities of what we can look at. I think I've sort of highlighted where we are in terms of the fact that our partners are coming together, and come October, if we're not ready, if we don't have all of those possible scenarios covered, where if a student or if 5 students or 15 students are enrolled, what do they need? What is it that they will require in order to make sure that the instructors, we've already have all of our professors lined up, in order the students and the professors can operate. So I would ask that on this trial basis that everybody show their self-initiative and really come to us, the leadership team, and ask us if there's anything that we can do to make sure that you're taking the right steps forward. Because I think, as number 6 says here, we need to get started. Right. So that's really all I wanted to point out, because we are, I think, on the verge here. We're really getting started, and as we tie up our partnerships, we need to make sure that everybody knows that it's not just about waiting to be told what to do, because I've seen quite a bit of that waiting and seeing approach. At this point, really, it's up to you to make what you can and what you wish of this institution, this possibility. I'm happy to throw in my suggestions to everybody as to where you can contribute, but again, everybody needs to be a self-starter. Any final thoughts before we run out of time? Yes, please, Louis, go ahead.
I agree totally with you. I think we have also the advantage that we can start at any moment. We are not blocked by any physical constraints to with buildings and everything around. Okay, we need to have the professors ready and give them a certain timetable so they can organize themselves. But we should now give one date that should be a deadline for the first start. And as you said, if we have not a critical mass giving us the possibility to do it, we can postpone it easily a month or 2 months later. And the other advantage is we can, in fact, do it continuously. As soon as we have enough candidates, we can again start independently of a certain date that we maybe fix ourselves. As I said, the only limit is the disponibility of our lecturers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Louis. I know Alexis is traveling. I know she wanted to add 1 or 2 things, but I don't know, Alexis, if you can hear.
She's writing.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's texting. Okay.
Yeah, I've been. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi. Just really quickly, the topic of what makes us different to other institutions is raised often, and I just want to quickly address that. You know, we have Starbucks coffee, but we also have small coffee houses that people would prefer to go to. Why is that? Because it's more personable. Starbucks is less approachable, it's more corporate, it's more global, and some people just don't like that. And with education's about people. There's a lot of institutions who are still confused about what e-learning is. They're frightened, they're worried. They don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the people power to actually implement e-learning. So they come to somebody like us who are going to write a bespoke program for them based on their already raw curriculum resources. And that is what makes us different to, for example, Google or Microsoft or these big conglomerates that are coming forward for education. They're not writing bespoke programs. They're not teaching digital pedagogy, and that's what we're doing.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, Alexis. Thank you so much. Okay, I know that our clock is up. I believe we are running now on borrowed time. So does anybody have any last comments here before we wrap this up?
Oh, I think for me, we are on the good way.
Okay.
I hope you're running like that.
Yes, absolutely. I really feel, yeah, go ahead.
Tomorrow, huh?
Yes, yes, of course. As for us, we'll see each other tomorrow. And again, let me just say that I really hope that this works for everybody. I think that everybody has something to contribute. That's why you're here, and not others. And I do have and believe in the fact that we can accomplish a lot of good in the process, make an impact, and this is the future. The numbers here tell us this. So we are so well positioned. We are going to be able to make a mark, but we cannot make a mark unless we make a move. And we have to make a move that is differentiated, like Louis said, from the competition, and something Alexis just pointed out even further. If we cannot do this with ideas that are unique, we're going to be offering, by the way, project management very soon. I was in Prague recently, and I mentioned this to Alexis and to Louis, that I sat down with Luc de Custa, and we've come out with a very interesting additional offering, which is project management. He is a very incredible person that he is willing to offer his intellectual property to EBU as an offering. And we're going to be offering, of course, blockchain. We want to build this up into more than just a certificate, potentially even a degree offering as a master's, or why not even a bachelor's. But let's see whether we can get started, right? Let's see whether we can all start to gain the initiative. We are all busy. I think I have found that there are 8 days in a week. If you really look for them. But let's see if we can find those extra hours, and eventually as we grow, it will be something that becomes more of a passion as opposed to a job. And then those hours are, I think, well spent in terms of the purpose and the scope of our vision and mission. Okay. Any other final thoughts? I don't know if anybody wants to make mention of anything here. Okay, I think then yeah. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. All right, everybody. I won't brag. We'll see you
have a nice
next
weekend. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Hey, James.
Yes, please.
James. Yeah. Do you have a minute right after the meeting to have a word?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will give you a call on WhatsApp. Is that all right?
Okay. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for coming. See you soon. Bye-bye.